Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. Excuse my voice, you guys know I have been pretty sick for the past week and I have been trying to get over this cold that my daughter brought home for me. She's so gracious, so gracious. But anywho, here I am. And let's go ahead and get started because I know you guys have been anxiously anticipating my thoughts on the new Westman Atelier duos. Go ahead and grab a coffee because we may or may not be here for quite some time. We're gonna see where this goes. So I'm gonna let you know what I have on my face already just for the sake of time because I kind of really wanted to concentrate my thoughts on these duos because the Sephora sale is coming up on April the 4th. Rouge members get to shop first on the 4th, and then VIB and Beauty Insiders. In my personal opinion, if you're not a Rouge member, I kind of don't think that this sale is gonna be worth it, especially because a lot of brands have 25-30% off on their own websites. However, when it comes to the Westman Atelier brand, I really have never seen their products discounted more than 20% off on their site. There was only one Black Friday sale where it was select products were 50% off and it was like a warehouse sale. I've never seen that done again. So I think that if you're able to get 20% off during the Sephora sale on the Westman Atelier products, then I do think it's worth it. With that said, on my face, I have the Westman Atelier face serum and I have my Merit moisturizer. And usually this combo is a little too emollient for me on most days, but because I've been sick and I've just been blowing my nose nonstop, my skin has been pretty dry, so I needed a little extra oomph. Next, I did do two different things because I wanted you guys to see how this powder was gonna perform on different types of foundations. So on this side of my face, I applied the Westman Atelier Complexion Stick, and don't mind my nails, okay? That's gonna be another video I'm doing. I'm reviewing press-on nails. Anyways. And on this side of my face, I have my Merit foundation. Now, I chose these two in particular for right now. Of course, I will be doing a follow-up video. I'm the shade Ecru in Merit and Atelier 2 in the stick. I chose these two because they're comparable. Both are stick foundations. They have a different finish. So I find the Westman Atelier has more of a dewier emollient finish, as you can see by the slight shine on my face. And then my Merit foundation has more of a very natural finish, which I prefer. And then I did use the Westman Atelier concealer on both sides of my face. For my lips, I used the Westman Atelier lipstick in Brûlée. This is a little miniature version, but this is what I have on my lips. This is the color. So you can use these. These are a highlighting stick, but I use them on my lips as well, and they're great, very moisturizing. For my eyes, because we were featuring Petal, I decided to go in with my Merit Single Shadow in the color Studio, which is a very neutral kind of pinky shade. And I topped it off with this topper shade from Urban Decay that I recently hauled. It's called the Urban Decay Moon Dust Single Shadow, and this is in the color Solstice. Because we're all about those beautiful lilac shades, and that's how I got my eye look. For eyeliner, I did use the Westman Atelier eyeliner to my top lashes. I went in with the Westman Atelier brow pencil in clay and my Merit brow gel for my brows, and then on my lashes I have the Victoria Beckham Future Lash Mascara. We have everything that I have on my face out of the way. And you're like, oh, Isabel, why didn't you put it in the description box? I'm gonna put it in the description box, but I get these comments anyway because I've realized there's some people who don't know how to get to the description box. It's down below, you have to click more, but for some reason, some people, you know, they don't know how to get there. So I just wanna get that out of the way. Okay, so these blushes came in this beautiful packaging that matches the actual vessel. And for those of you who don't know, I won a giveaway during the Zoom meeting members were invited to. So if you are a Westman, you're part of the loyalty program on the Westman Atelier website, which is free to sign up, by the way. You get invites to webinars and stuff like that where Gucci herself is there talking about the new launch. So I was lucky enough to be able to attend, and during that webinar there was a giveaway and it was for 3 people, and you were gonna win the new brush, which came in this beautiful box, and you got to pick one blush duo or blush contour duo of your choice. And my brush came in with this cover, but I've already used it, so that's why. But if you want to see like the original packaging of these things, you can check out my shorts. I did a shorts on it as soon as it arrived. I was one of the winners, and although I really wanted Tulle, that new shade Tulle, I ended up getting Petal and Biscuit because I have the original Petal blush, and I needed to see this comparison. So for the Sephora sale, I know I'm definitely picking up Tulle, but right now it's between the Mimi and Coquette blush duo and the Sable one that has that other color I can't remember right now. But I think Mimi and Coquette are winning because Mimi is a favorite blush shade for a lot of people. Unfortunately, Mimi is one of those cream shadow sticks that Westman Atelier has that's only exclusive to her website, which we all are upset about, but here we are. So for those of you who don't remember or are unaware, a couple of holidays ago, Gucci Westman launched this gift set. Yes, I still have the packaging and everything. And you got 3 products in her most sold favorite shades, but in a different kind of finish. So for example, Petal is her best-selling blush shade in her cream, you know, sticks. So she gave us the powder version of this as a foreshadowing of we were eventually gonna get powder blushes. Here we are. But this vessel was refillable. So I'm not sure what happened. Everybody had the same reaction. They were, you know, very upset that these vessels were not refillable, and that you couldn't choose your shades. And some people did not agree with the colors, you know, chosen for these particular duos. So I totally get it. I have already tested both of these blushes. The shades are exactly the same. I know that in the pan, they look a little different, but applied to the face, they look exactly the same. Blended out, they look exactly the same. The only difference I find in both formulas is that the original one was very pigmented right off the bat. You really didn't have too much wiggle room with it. So if you wanted a very light wash of color, you weren't gonna really be able to get that with this one because it was very, very pigmented, which I remember when I first launched, that was everybody's shock, was how pigmented this blush was. It gave me Pat McGrath vibes. You know, Pat McGrath's products are super, super pigmented in that way. That's kind of like what we got with this. So I think she tweaked it a little bit and ended up giving us this, and this is perfect. I think it's a wonderful formula. It has a blurring effect, but you have wiggle room. You can build it up to as deep as you want, and if you just kind of want a wash of color for that day, you have that option. Now with the brush, for right now, I'm not a person that will tell you to go out and buy a brush unless I have thoroughly tested it. And what I mean by that is I'm not gonna use a brush for 2 or 3 weeks and then tell you, oh, this brush is great. I need to have this for months. I need to wash it and use it, wash it and use it. I need to see its durability. I need to see its performance. Now, I will say, I highly doubt that this is gonna be nothing but exceptional, because I own all of the Westman Atelier brushes and I have had them for a really long time, and I've used them and they perform extremely well. These are made by hand and they are a mixture of synthetic bristles. They are very soft. They feel very luxurious. They are light on the hand. And I will say that the ferrule, the actual brush, its composition is durable compared to what I know from the brushes I already own. I don't see anything different in this brush from her line. So I can only assume that this is gonna perform over time great. If anything changes, I obviously will let you guys know. And of course, I'm gonna do an updated video reviewing the brush once I've had it a little bit longer. Another thing that I wanna let you know, I've never experienced any shedding with any of her brushes, and this is no exception. So for right now, I love the shape of this brush. I think it was definitely a shape she was missing in her collection, and I'm so glad that she filled the gap with this brush. So what I've been doing is I've been using one side of this with the contour shade and one side of it with the blush, which is exactly how she was using it in the webinar. So it can be a multi-purpose brush without having the colors kind of mixed together. So let's go ahead and get started and apply these colors on the face. I'm actually gonna apply the contour shade as well. So I'm using the side of this that would pick up the biscuit shade. And of course, we're gonna do comparison swatches here so that you guys can see what it looks like. But one thing I do have to say with the contour shade, you need to go in with a light hand because it is very pigmented. It's blendable, but you are gonna get a lot of color right off the bat. You do have a decently sized mirror in this, so you can see your whole face, which is nice, especially if you're working with the cheek area. And you can see it blends out beautifully. I'm gonna compare it to the stick version as well for you guys, but I just kind of want you to see, and that was just one swipe in the pan. I made the mistake of going in a little bit more than one swipe, and I had a little bit of a hard time blending it out because I applied way too much, you know. And it's kind of like those things where when you apply too much, you're like, oh, how are we gonna fix this? It's okay, I figured out how to fix it, but I did get the sense that the contour shades are pretty pigmented, so go in with a light hand. Let's apply that to the other side of the face, and remember that on this side I have the Merit foundation. And I'm using like the side of the brush, not the tip, just because I'm using this for both the blush and the contour shade. So you can see how beautiful that is. I do apply, you guys, well, those of you who've been following me know that I do apply my biscuit shade, you know, on the temples, around my forehead, because it's really the color that gives my face a little bit of life, a little bit of dimension, not too much. And for my particular skin tone, biscuit is the perfect shade. That was my other hesitation with Tulle, was that contour shade seems really deep, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to make that work for me. I don't know, I saw Gucci use that on her face and she made it work, and she seems like somebody with a lighter skin tone, but I don't know. I mean, we'll find out because I'm gonna get it, but here we are. Now let's go in with the blush shade, and I'm gonna show you what one wash of color looks like, okay? So I went in with one swipe, and you can tap it instead of doing a sweeping motion. The reason why I'm tapping it is I find that if you're using a more moisturizing kind of foundation, if you do the sweep situation and you have combination oily skin like I do, you're gonna get patchiness because you like concentrated, like stuck in one place, because you do have that emollients happening. So if you pat it and then you kind of do sweeping motions, it blends out way better. So just learn from my mistakes if you have the same kind of skin type as I do. But as you can see, it's beautiful. It really is. And as somebody with combination to oily skin, I'm very happy to see powder products being introduced into the line. However, I'm gonna tell you right now, I never ever had a problem with her cream sticks, because although they went on like a cream, they dried down to a powder finish and they blend really, really easily. So I personally love her shadow sticks, and we'll get into later on when I've tested this out a lot longer with other foundations, whether or not I prefer the powder over the cream. I can't make that decision right now because I haven't had this long enough. So with the Merit foundation, which is on this side, which is more of a natural finish, it's less dewy, but it's not matte by any means. As you can see, you still see that normal shine on my face. It's just not as shiny and luminous as this side, and this is not a luminosity I prefer, because in a couple of hours my natural oils will come in and it'll be too dewy, if you know what I mean. So with this one I can swipe because it doesn't have that kind of luminosity. It's not going to matter. So it allows the brush to glide across the face. And with this formula, you can leave it on the cheeks if you want. You can bring it over the bridge of your nose. I've done that as well, which as a matter of fact, I did that in the shorts that I just uploaded. But yes, you can really blend this out. And this is just one. This is one swipe in the pan. I'm gonna build this up now. I would never wear more than this amount of blush out, but for the purpose of this video, we're gonna build this up so you can see how deep this is gonna get. Exactly. And immediately I have too much blush on my face. So it's a very pigmented. A little bit goes a long way, which means that this compact is gonna last you quite a long time. The shelf life on this is 24 months, which I'm super happy with. I think we can all agree that's a reasonable shelf life, especially if this is your holy grail go-to blush situation. I definitely can get through a blush and contour shade in 2 years. But there we are, there it is. Built up, prominent, here I am. So let's do the other side. Very, very bright, very strong. Now you can, like I said, you can drag this over the bridge of your nose, which I love to do. It's not your jam, I totally understand. But it's stunning, honestly. So far, I haven't gotten hard pan. This is another question most of us have had, because I know a lot of you have had a very bad experience with the powder butter bronzer, and you guys say you got hard pan almost immediately. Now, I will tell you right now, I will never use this powder product with my complexion drops, because though that foundation is way too dewy for any kind of powder. Like, you're gonna get hard pan no matter what. It's just too emollient. However, I do want to try this with other foundations. I want to try it with my Chanel foundation, my Glossier foundation. I have other formulas I want to test this out with, and I will report back. But I just wanted you to show you the size of this mirror. It's pretty substantial, and you get that little heart right at the corner. Now, the size of this compact is pretty much just a little larger than the palm of my hand. I think it's a beautiful size. It's not gonna take up too much space. I love the color story she chose for this. Now, let's go ahead and get into comparison swatches with the cream version of these colors. By the way, really quick, I brought my Vital Press skincare powder, and I have hard pan. I got hard pan on this immediately when I tried to use this with my complexion drops. So you can see in the pan all that hard pan on the edge, but that was all along this side of the powder. How I got rid of it was I actually started using this with the stick foundation, which was not as emollient, and eventually it started to kick up that hard pan. You can also take a piece, I don't know if you guys know this, but a little hack I learned a few years ago. If you take a piece of tape and you put it over any section you have hard pan, and you peel it off, it immediately takes off that thin layer of hard pan, and you can continue to use your product. But apart from the fact that this got hard pan, and this is supposed to be a setting powder that when the complexion drops launched, Gucci Westman herself said that you could use these with those. I can't, it's too emollient. But the powder is great, finely milled. But look at my vessel. My vessel has not held up nicely. You can see it's lost its color in many areas. However, this is the only vessel this has happened to. I have a ton of these vessels in different shades: matte black, rose gold. I haven't experienced that, so I wonder if maybe I got a lemon. Who knows? Anyways, let's compare this one. Even though I just did the shorts, still, I know some of you prefer to watch the videos and not catch the shorts, but here is the original Petal Blush, and here is the new one. They're identical, honestly. I truly cannot tell a difference when applied to the cheeks, when I swatch them, only in the pan. And I think it's because they're housed in two very different colors. Like, this is housed in a red pan, this is housed in a light pink pan, but with a white perimeter. Believe it or not, light bounces off of things in a very peculiar way. So in the pan, you can see that they can look a little different, but honestly, it's exactly the same. There's no difference in the color. So I think she did an amazing job replicating this into powder form. Now, I know some of you like to see finger swatches, but here are the finger swatches. Remember, this was original, this is the new. Again, I do not see any kind of difference in the color. Now I'm gonna swatch the new one. Remember, it's right here with the cream. By the way, this is a limited edition vessel. Obviously, it came out during this like holiday thing, and I have it. Usually, Westman Atelier gives you special colored vessels for the holidays. So this is like the miniature version. In comparison, this would be like a regular sized cylinder, and this is a mini. Okay, here we have the cream version of the blush. So you can see it does look slightly different when it's in cream version. Let's go ahead and see these blended out. And I'm going to blend them out side by side on the back of my hand. So on this hand, I have the powder version blended out. And on this hand, I have the cream version blended out. I don't see a difference either when these are blended out. But you can see that there's a difference in the finish because this is powder form, so it's going to look a lot more matte. And this is, although cream to powder, it does have more of a luminosity to it without having any glitters or shimmers. So again, I think she did an amazing job creating this product. I think that the colors are very comparable to each other. I want to show you now the powder version of Biscuit compared to the cream version of Biscuit. So this is what Biscuit looks like in its original cream form and then the new powder form side by side. This has a slight luminosity even though it dries down to a powder finish, and this has definitely more of a matte finish. But the colors look exactly the same, swatched side by side. Now let's blend these out. Okay, so on this side I have the powder version, and on this side I have the cream version. You can see this has like a blurring effect, matte blurring effect, and the cream side has a slight little luminosity even though it dries down to a powder finish. Again, I think she did an amazing job replicating these shades. Applied to the cheek, I really don't see a difference between the cream version and the powder version, honestly. On the cheek, applied, it looks the same to me. I think that this is really gonna come down to if you want a matte cream powder version of your favorite products. I think this addition was beautiful, but not necessary. And let me explain myself. So as somebody with combination to oily skin, I personally, the two products I love the most in her line are the contour sticks and the blush sticks, because they blend out super easily, but they have that powder finish where it's not dewy, it's not emollient, it's just perfect. However, as somebody with combination to oily skin, I naturally gravitate towards powder products. So to me, if I would have never tried the line and I would have seen these two products side by side, cream and powder, I would have immediately picked this up, obviously as somebody new, right? So I feel like this is tapping in to those of you who have very oily skin, who may not like the cream version for whatever reason. Maybe it doesn't agree with your holy grail foundation that you use. However, I really do like the cream formula. So I didn't necessarily need the powder version of them because I already have something that I love. With that said, as somebody who mainly uses powder products, I am gonna tell you, no matter what, if your makeup essentials consist of mostly powder products, then powder blush and powder contour will always be the easiest to use. It's mess up proof. It's not gonna happen. You get what I mean? You're not gonna have you don't need to fear that it's gonna lift up anything that you have underneath, etc. For those of you with combination to oily skin, if you know, you know. I think this is a really good addition for people who have shied away from the brand because they don't get along well with cream products. I can tell you this as a content creator because it is my job to try out different products. But as a regular consumer, not all of us are content creators. As a regular consumer, people will gravitate naturally towards the products they know. The products they know are gonna perform well to the skin. So I think it was a nice addition. I just don't think it was a necessary addition to the line, just because this performed really well across the board. Even people with dry skin like this, even though it has that cream to powder kind of finish to it, I know a lot of people with dry skin, they just love the cream products. And people with combination to oily skin really like the cream products. But because this is a luxury beauty brand, I totally understand there was a very large untapped market where people are not willing to pay the high price tag on a maybe. On a 50-50 chance, this may or may not perform well on their skin. I totally understand that. So having a powder version of her favorites, I think, was very smart, because she's tapping into a crowd that is only about their powder products. And when they see this, they're gonna be like, yes, I'm willing to spend the high price tag on that, because I'm familiar with powder products and it's what I'm comfortable with. So I understand from a marketing standpoint the reason for this. I also understand that with incorporating more powder products, she's also giving everybody an option. Everybody has something. Does that make sense? I feel like it's more inclusive in the beauty community, because we all have different skin types. So I think this launch was not only beautiful, it was well executed. The products for right now, from what I've been able to test out in the little time that I've had it, I think they perform really nicely. It's Westman Atelier. This is a luxury beauty brand, so you're gonna pay that luxury price tag. These are $75. They are not refillable. You do not get to choose your shades. So before you purchase this, make sure you're buying shades you know you love. If you have a Sephora near you or Nordstrom that carries these, see if you can test these out, swatch them. I believe these are gonna be part of the Sephora sale. We will see, because you know that there are certain new launches that are pulled from the site during the Sephora sale. So we shall see. For right now, it seems that they're gonna be part of the sale. So you do get a nice little discount on them, and that would be your time to purchase them. When I purchased the other colors during the Sephora sale, I'm gonna be swatching them for you guys, comparing them for you, all the things. If you have any questions, any additional comparisons you want me to do apart from what I've shown you here, leave me a comment down below. I will get to that. I know you guys were super excited about this, and I took a little bit long to film, but I have really been under the weather, and I also very careful about rushing any kind of review when it comes to luxury products, because how terrible would it be if I tested this one time or 2 times and I got on here and told you this was amazing and you guys spent a wad of cash and it wasn't. Yeah, you guys would not be happy with me. So I really do try to test things out as thoroughly as possible before I sit down and give you my thoughts. However, as I continue to use this, eventually I will be able to tell you guys if I prefer one over the other. But right now, with the way that they perform, I really don't see much of a difference. They both perform really well. So it really just depends on what kind of finish you want. Do you want something matte? Because this isn't gonna give you matte. You're still gonna have a very, very slight lume. It's like a very natural finish where it doesn't look matte, it doesn't look greasy. It's just perfection. Like her cream blushes are perfection, okay? This though, it's going to be matte. So if you are not a fan of matte anything, I would not recommend these. This is, you're committing to a matte finish with the powder version of this. So I'm hoping that if these do well, I'm hoping in the future maybe we'll get a refillable version of this compact, because you guys, this is really beautiful. It's magnetic and it's weighty without being too heavy. It's stunning. It really is really beautiful. And she said that during the webinar, she said that she actually asked for them to be outlined in this white vessel to make it easier to see the color when you open the pan. Of course, she would think about a detail like that because she's amazing. She's a makeup artist. I expect nothing less. But I have to say, these baby cheek face trace sculpting powder duos, I actually really like them. I really like them. And we'll see. We'll see. Will I purchase one during the Sephora sale or two? I don't know. Right now, it's looking like two. But we'll see. You know how we all place one order and then we're like, are we done? Are we? And then the second order, and then we're like, no, we're done now. We're done now. And then that third order gets you. That third order gets you. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was thorough enough and gives you enough information to make an educated purchase during the Sephora sale. I'll be doing more shorts applying this to my face. We'll do a little get ready with me at some point as well. I'm gonna continue to test these out for you guys, but I kind of wanted to do this just so you guys can prep your carts. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.